As we come to the end of ATRC 2019, the fifth in the series, I stand here with great joy and gratitude to every one of you who made this conference another great success. It was 2 days of exciting exchanges, interactions, and sharing, which are vital to the tire industry of India. A summing up of the event may be short and easy, but the impact this conference have on the industry, I'm sure, are long-lasting thanks to the wonderful speakers and their presentations. The tone for the conference was set in the inaugural session itself, where stalwarts from tire and automotive industry graced it with their presence and speeches. Harm Woodman, President and CEO of EMI, Kamal Bali, Managing Director of Volvo India, Anand Goenka, Managing Director of SEAT. Each of them have made their mark in the industry by their focus on growth, on automation, on technology, on innovation. Mr. Harm set the contours of next generation manufacturing and how software and devices are going to take over manufacturing going forward. Mr. Kamal Bali gave the picture of the big opportunity for manufacturing that's coming up to take the share of GDP from 15% to 25%. And he has highlighted 5 distinct enablers and directions. Top of it is all digitization. And digitization is surrounding all of us everywhere outside the manufacturing facilities. As the young lady said, I can't order even food from one, coffee from another, sweet dish from another. I want to order only with one button jack. You know, it's like that. It's all around us. And the millennials are fully aligned to it. The oldies like me are not anywhere near it. But that has not gone into the manufacturing. And you can't isolate yourself long. And the whole idea of this conference was to bring out that contradiction and to draw the picture how manufacturing is going to look going forward. And if you don't notice that, as Mr. Anand said, this tectonic shift that is happening will engulf many of us. The second aspect, what Kamal said, is the changing business model, the asset-light business model. All those high-asset business models, and we are very notorious on that, have to really think serious about our investments. And rapid urbanization and consequent mobility requirements. And the shift of customer from product to solutions. The digitization is enabling all of us to give solutions, and young generation going forward, not customer would be looking at product, they would be looking at solutions. And not the last, very important one is sustainability. Sustainability socially and sustainability environmentally. Environmentally, you have heard a lot, and we are pretty notorious. Tire industry, notorious for environmentally negative contribution, both in terms of raw material as well as in the life of its usage. And socially, as he said, the millennials are not conforming to your standard format, SOPs, long training hours, long training modules. No, they are not having those kind of times. Better be prepared with AR and all the modern tools and tackles to train people. And Anand Goenka has pictured very nicely the tectonic shift that is happening in each of these areas. And the enablers are, of course, digitization, technology explosion, business model change, and the customer shift from product to solutions. While he's pictured that, he cautioned all of us, just don't jump into, keep the basics in place, the QCDSM, and sustainability. If you don't keep that basics in place and ensure that you are not overdoing and your business is not supporting, please be careful. It can take you to wrong places. Yes, is the future of the tire industry that we had in our mind when we chose this automation technology as the theme of the conference. Each of the 6 technical sections were focusing on that very much. The subject and the presentations were categorized very carefully to bring about a comprehensive feel, end to end, starting from how the business is transforming, how the customers are transforming, how the industry need to transform, how the enablers, the testing, the equipments, the whole, how it needs to transform to meet this challenge. And that was the intention. I hope we have done a fair justice to it. Well, there was some question, look, you are talking from the clouds. We are just having some basic machine with one motor and a brake and a switch. What do you expect out of it? Don't worry. But don't stop there and remain there. Move ahead. Get to the new devices, not very expensive. New sensors. Get the whole control of the equipment to a PLC, not very expensive. Get the taste of it. And then you will learn, yeah, you need to go to the next level, and you need to go to the next level, and then you will realize that why not integrate all? Let's go to a MES, and like that, okay? So, but start. Otherwise, coming times are going to be really, really ruthless. You're seeing that in the country, big businesses collapsing in no time, new businesses coming up like rockets. So times are quite different and are ruthless. Coming to the technical sessions, the first session was digital manufacturing, chaired by the most eminent veteran of the tire industry, Mr. P.K. Muhammad, Chief Advisor, Apollo Tyres. And the first paper was by Adnan from VMI. And VMI, they have shown how the transformation of the tire building machines are evolving to meet this future digitized world. How efficiencies are improving, productivity is improving, human fatigue is coming down, and manufacturing become more robust and reliable. Followed by Industry 4.0 IIoT by SimCorp, Mr. Veli Matti of SimCorp, and from Black Donut, Aki Noriminan. Both of them pictured how the tire industry is going to look in the new era, how it's going to change, how automation is effectively incorporated, how it become more predictable, less fatiguing, and most effective. Post-lunch, we had automotive and tire industries emerging trends, chaired by M.K. Jain, Corporate Vice President, Jaca Tyres. And we had presentations from Rajiv Buddhiraja, Director General Atma, who gave the Indian tire industry's current challenges, scenario, and the rosy picture going forward, the kind of growth that we have to capture and make big out of it. This was followed by his counterpart from JATMA, Mr. Kenji Kurata, who has pictured the Japanese industry, how it is changing. And look at that, where there is no growth, there is a degrowth. And we are all lucky that we have a 15-20% kind of growth is looking at us to grab. I mean, we are in such a wonderful situation. And how the industry is moving globally, what are the technological challenges that are there, and what are the business challenges, mobility challenges that are coming, like the electric vehicle, the connected vehicle, automated vehicles, all that spanning and going forward coming. So he has given a very nice picture of how the world is moving. And we can't be behind. Rather, we'll have to run much faster and catch up. The third session and the final session of the day was on smart manufacturing. Before that, we had one RFID a paper presented by Jose, Vice President RFID Solutions. And RFID is another big enabler. It's simple sensors, you can embed it anywhere on toolings, on moving MHEs or anywhere, and keep tracking. You don't have to do manual work anymore, or noting down everything, or verifying whether it is right or wrong. All that will be done by the RFID solutions. The third and the final session of the day one was on smart manufacturing, ably conducted by Ravin Kurian, Senior Manager Product Development, MRF. And the speakers in this very vital focus area of future tire industry was Wang Singh, Vice Director, MESNAC, and Mr. Singh has also drawn how the tire assembly area is going to look going forward, talking even manless operation, which we don't subscribe fully to it. So man won't be eliminated, but a lot of value-added job man can do there. Followed by this, Mr. Massimo Lenti, Technical Director of Marangoni, pictured how the off-highway tire assembly area is going to look like. So far, even I thought off-highway is going to remain for the 80 kg people, all manually handled, highly labor-intensive. And the picture what he has shown is they are now behind the PCR or the TBR fellows. Nice to hear that. So the world is moving entirely in that direction. Stefan, Mr. Ulrich Busch, Director of Sales HF, has presented the necessity of flexibility in the manufacturing. You know, manufacturing getting very complex. The number of products that, like Anand said, we have to make tires for Ambassador, which is extinct, 15 years back. We still have to make tires for that. And for the hundreds and maybe reaching thousands of new models that is getting released, each one has a different product. You have seen in Juban's presentation, it's so nicely, the tire for each model is quite different. It's so nicely knitted with that. So each of these, you see the number of products that's coming up. Volumes, very small, very large variety. So how do manufacturing be made very flexible to adapt to this ever-changing need of the tire industry? And going forward, I strongly feel it will be a very modular, very, very quick to change, like Toyota line. If you go and see a Toyota line, no two cars are identical in the line. I personally have seen that. You don't see two identical cars going on that line. It's all different. It's so well managed. And you sitting here, order a Toyota car, you put what you want in that, and they'll tell you, you will get it this. And from that time onwards, till you get in the line, in the design, in the process, you can see it's progressing. It's going to turn to that kind of situation going forward. So the manufacturing has to be highly flexible, highly modular, and very, very controlled with very extra precision. Okay, coming to Stefan Ergang of Forger Technologies pictured how laser is getting into the manufacturing more and more. And if you have to make punctureless tires, if you have to make tires for EV vehicles, the only component that makes noise in the EV vehicle is only the tire. So you have to kill the noise. And you have to have technologies to put in that. You need laser there. Coming to day 2, open with fourth session of the conference on emerging trends in tire testing and vehicle integration. And ably directed by Ajay Savkari, Director Quality Management System, Bristol. Dr. A. Sahaya, Head Advanced Vehicle System Technology, and Vijay Kumar from L&T gave us a peep into how vehicle designs are evolving to control fuel efficiency, loading, as well as mileage efficiency of the tire, and the social concern not only of carbon emission, but also of the particle emissions. And I'm sure tire industry is more than happy to work with you, sir, for joint solutions. And the solutions of coming years are individual industry cannot come out with an effective solution. It has to be a concerted joint effort of all concerned industries. This was followed by the most famous IDIADA, International Testing Agency, based in Europe, on RR by Mr. Oscar. Europe, you have seen, is planning huge reduction in carbon dioxide going forward by 40%. They've already gone very tight, and further 40% reduction, and a lot of regulations and tight targets and huge penalties are coming in those legislation. Please don't think that it is in Europe. Why are we worried about it? But today, we are bringing all that in. We have already finalized legislations on rolling resistance and wet grip. The standard is already introduced, and it is effective from next April. So it's there, and very tight target for next 4 years. And I'm telling you, what Europe is doing, we will not be behind, maybe 3-4 years, not beyond that. That's the mood in the country. This was followed by Juban on objectivization of tire testing. Historically, tire testing and its right fit to the vehicle is mostly subjective. And I used to get crazy. I get different names from the riders coming, telling it's I don't recollect all that words. And each of that word is different in different environment. And you cannot make out what that means is. Somebody talk of harshness, different from roughness, will talk of something which is crazy English words, I don't know. And you just can't make out what exactly it means, unless you convert it into something in the tire, you just can't do anything. So we decided we should objectivize it, convert that into objective data, and today I'm quite happy that a lot of it is objectivized, correlated, and corresponding requirement in the tire is more clearer. The next session was ably conducted by Sujit. We brought in a material session. Just to give you a feel, tire is different, rubber is different. It's not that easy to get it all automated and control. The rubber is rubber. It doesn't follow all what you talk in case of automotive components, machining, and this will give you wide varying results. So to make it all controlled, you need a lot of work going forward. And I'm happy that efforts are going on. And along with that, there are huge challenges to the material group, because the challenges of high, very low rolling resistance, environment-friendly raw materials, high grip, especially in wet, without losing a respectable mileage to the customer, which is what he sees at the end of the day. And conventional carbon black doesn't suit there because its manufacturing itself is carbon footprint is horrible, because you have to burn the petroleum, and it's not going to be there ever. And it has its limitation in terms of rolling resistance and wet grip. So you have to go to silica, and silica is a new item in tire. You have to evolve a lot of new grades, and silica being polar, it's not easily made with rubber like carbon black. You need to have additives to control that. You have heard all that from the doctors and the material group. Okay, so they are into big challenges to make all these work and be ready for the coming years. Okay. Structural, we chose because it makes the processing of these materials easy. The biggest task in the tire manufacturing is making this rubber usable. Rubber is very soft material. The only place it can be used as it is in quantums and surgical gloves, nowhere else, where it has to be soft, of course. All other places it needs to be reinforced, hard and toughened, and that's the biggest task in rubber. And that's not easy, because such a high viscous material, you have to incorporate these fine particles and disperse it very fine. That's the biggest challenge. I'm sure there will be innovations which will come, which will make it simpler. Like the doctor said, probably all these would happen in the latex stage. I don't know. There can be many earth-shaking changes that could happen in that area. Nanomaterials and dispersion, that could be one route which may make it totally different, but it won't remain the way it is today, I'm sure about it. Silica, Silane by Dr. J.C. Nian, Vonix has clearly conveyed what all work is going on in the silica-silane area, how they are nearing to the reinforcement of carbon black, and with added advantages of low rolling resistance and grip. This was followed by the next big area is functional polymers. The existing polymers cannot address to all the requirements, especially the more tighter requirements that are coming. You need to modify the polymers. It's actually converting that polymers into different molecules by incorporating groups and making it to interact with the fillers much more effectively. That has been effectively handled by Dr. Nikhil. The last session was chaired by Sivaramakrishnan from TVS. Yes, he's a veteran in tire industry, has been in JK long, now in TVS. Yes, here, the only lady that came up for this conference and presented, Ms. Vidhi Gupta. Hands off to you. Great. I would love half of this at least manned by your women folks. Going forward, we must see. And that is one big change I initiated in Seer Tires. Today, our 2 new plants will have 40% women workforce. The first time in the country. And the previous plant will have nearly 15 or 20%. And the management is clearly focused on having more women in our engineering, in management, in marketing, everywhere. Okay. And all this is possible again. You can't have high physical activity and employ a women. That is not fair, no? So you have to make it agnostic, simple, all buttons, like she said. Just press some buttons or that's it. Okay. That's what we have been doing in the manufacturing. I'm sure going forward, every industry will have to get into that. Every one of you will have to get into that. So the biggest challenge was mixing room, getting into automation and making it work effectively. With mixing room, entering cloud, mixing room, automation from HF, I'm sure all this will make it definitely more conducive to the new manufacturing requirements. Future proofing of the VMA equipment, that's another excellent thought, because nothing is stationary. You buy a tire building machine, you buy a mixer, and then, for next 30 years, done. That used to be. During my period and all, it's like that. When you have a mixer, 40 years life of the mixer, you keep changing once in a while the rotor and the chamber. Gone are those days. It's going to change dramatically. An equipment you buy today, in next 3 years, if you don't upgrade to the next generation, you will be outcast. So every equipment manufacturer and every tire manufacturer will have to continuously look at upgrading to the new requirements, enabling it for the future. And that's going to be a permanent thing. This is one glimpse of that. I'm sure all will be looking towards that. With this, let me come to the last part. The continuing success of ATRC is greatly due to the quality of the speakers like this and quality of papers presented and the wonderful delegates that all of you are. Speakers related us, packed us with a lot of information. And I'm sure each of that will keep ticking in your mind when you take a call when you look forward. We are proud to say that we had a record number of delegates, and we had to say we are sorry that house full. We had to deny few, and I'm sure probably next year we will have a bigger hall probably. And the team ATRC, team ABM, and I personally express gratitude to every one of you delegates and participants who have always been supportive and are very interactive during the two-day conference. ATRC has always been fortunate to have few good men from the beginning whose creative inputs, suggestions have made big impact on its success. We thank Vinod Simon, Rajiv Buddhiraja, Vasudeva Rao, Juvan Thomas, Sujit Nair, Shirley, and many more for their immense support and help to make this a wonderful experience. The final success of such a major event depends on the support from the sponsors. VMI have been consistently supporting this conference as the corporate sponsor right from the beginning, and they continue to do even in 2021. HF Tech Group, BKT, Marangoni Mechanica, Mesnac have been the co-sponsors for most of these past conferences, as well as now. And I thank ABM team and entire Asia profusely for their continuous effort to make it a success. Our sincere thanks to Forjets, Tructol, Tata Steel, Wipro, Ninyas, and TST for hosting the tea and coffee. A number of industry organizations and agencies and media houses have been supporting us. Hyatt Regency has been the ATRC venue from the start, and we thank the management and the staff for all the ground support and help. Would like to give a special thanks to our MC, Shilpa, for the wonderful way she conducted the whole proceedings. Our event manager, stage crew, picture productions, and DG Mister, we thank you a lot for all the effort that you have put in. Members of Team ABM, namely Raghav Verma, K.S. Nair, Murali, Sharat, Anita, Gina, Praveen, Sridharan, Ranjit, Chima, and last but not Anthony Pawat, the big man, President of ABM, who put the tremendous effort to ensure the success of ATRC. I congratulate all of them and express my sincere thanks to all of them, and I'm sure they'll have a peaceful sleep tonight. So now it's time to say goodbye to all of you. I hope you all had a wonderful time in Chennai. I hope you enjoyed the place, and outside, I know it's not the right time, but inside, we try to make it as comfortable as possible. See you all in 2021 when ATRC will return with added punch and excitement. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.